Look, all I wanted was a GTA-like experience from this game, and sadly I couldn't get that from this. What this is instead is just a massive disappointment where I attempted to like this game as much as possible, and there were things that I liked about it, but with every good thing there is about this game, there's an even worse aspect to it. And I think that's what hurts the most, because this game has potential, but its main problem isn't the story. Because there's aspects to the story that I like. No, the deeper issue with this game is that they try to run before they started walking. For those that do not know, what this game was essentially a game within a game. The Everywhere platform was supposed to be your one-stop shop for everything that you can think of, every type of genre of game you can think of. Not only could you play in this world as if it was like a Fortnite type of game, but you can also build your own video games using their assets. And Mind's Eye was supposed to be this game where they created it from the Everywhere platform. But somewhere down the line, there are rumors that have said that they ran out of money, so they had to separate Mind's Eye from the Everywhere platform in order to get some revenue back. And this is the only logical explanation that Mind's Eye cost over $500 million to produce, because there's no way that this game was produced in such a way with that type of budget. So I believe that the Everywhere project in and of itself cost $500 million, and just Mind's Eye happens to be a part of that project. There is just absolutely no way that this singular game can cost that much. And you know, it's really easy to make fun of this game, but I do think there are some good aspects. First off, the lighting, the character models, the story. Some of the graphics can look a little spotty here and there, but there are some other places where I'm just like, wow. The setting where this game takes place is Las Vegas, and it looks absolutely beautiful in this game. They were even able to recreate the sphere, which I think is a really cool thing. However, in this game is very underutilized. I think the driving's really good, but sadly that's all the good things I have to say about this game, because in every other aspect, it does it wrong. And here's the thing, a lot of people love to complain about the bugs that are in this game. That's the least of its problems, because it has a lot more bigger issues, mechanically wise, that makes this game so frustrating. And the first thing that comes to mind is just kind of like this tailing section where you have to try and lose this car. For some reason, it kind of just mimics your movements. Instead of using some sort of AI that follows you around, instead, when you move forward, it moves forward. When you move back, it still moves forward. Why was it designed like this? It just has me laughing at the incompetence that they just have to have, or maybe like they just didn't have enough time, or they weren't familiar with the tools that they had. It's just, I can't really understand why it's built like this. Personally, my biggest issue with this game is the way that the story is structured. It definitely seemed like somewhere down the line that this was supposed to be heavily inspired by GTA, as each mission you go on is just set one after another after another after another with no breaks in between. And this really hurt while I was playing the game, because there was just another mission after another mission. Somebody wanted something, somebody just wanted this, somebody wanted that, and it was not very fun to have to go through each mission without me being able to explore the beautiful world that they created. And that reminds me, as I'm playing through the game and I decide to like veer off from the main mission or something like that, this game decides, hey, you're taking way too long. And I'm not trying to speed run through the game, I'm just trying to enjoy it, and it does everything in its power to make sure I don't enjoy this game.
Yes, the factory. Conti is being held as we speak. Did I remind you that hacker is our only lead? Come on!
Had this actually been built in a GTA style, I think it could have fixed a lot of the issues, and maybe people wouldn't have hated this game that much, but that also means they would have to put in things within the world for you to do, to see, which would require a lot more time and money, something that they just ran out of. And even though I said this game's story is fairly good, it still suffers issues from having very generic characters. Like generic hard-ass boss, generic hacker lady, a generic social outcast, a generic best friend, and totally not Elon Musk.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elon Musk.
And what's funny is that all the warning signs for this being a bad game was out in plain view, because just before this game's release, nobody was given a pre-release copy of it, which is an immediate red flag, because most games would actually want people to see what the game looks like, so that way they can make a decision on whether or not to buy it. No, but instead they got a whole bunch of influencers and just showed off their game on Microsoft Teams.
If you've ever used Teams, or for me, like StreamYard, it doesn't handle video great for sharing. it was definitely not going to get through to us with, oh, here it is, guys, 4K 60, you know, how great this looks. And no, we saw a fairly choppy and then at times blurry experience depending on how the bandwidth was at that given moment for teams.
But what was even funnier is that the developers had to turn on God mode just to beat the game.
I've never seen this in my entire life. The demoist used invincibility to get around 2 different encounters in 2 different missions that they otherwise would have died in. Because they were very clearly unbalanced.
Now, I'm not the most amazing gamer ever, but it's kind of embarrassing when you have to show off a game and you're incapable of beating certain sections of the game that you created. It tells me that certain sections are extremely broken, or at least that person's not very good at games. But at the end of the day, I have to judge a game based on what I see and what I play, and not just what other people see and play and experience themselves, because maybe something you guys dislike is something I will actually love. Star Wars Outlaws.
Excuse me.
Mine's better. But unfortunately, I am part of the majority of people that don't really think this game is all that amazing, doesn't have anything new or interesting to tell, and is overall a disappointment for something that was advertised as a GTA-like game. Maybe sometime in the future they could come back and try again. I never like to see companies lay off a bunch of people. It's really demoralizing. It doesn't really inspire anybody to work hard or work for companies when all they ever really care about is the monetary value and not their workers as well.
Complete insanity. So I take it I can count on your support.
The fuck just happened?
What are you talking about? We discussed globalization, the state.
Stay the fuck away from me.
What? But it's a good cause.